Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I am Joe Klemczewski along with Adam Atkinson. We are in episode 6 of our series on client-coach communication. And Adam, I want to move over to kind of a technical aspect of communicating change. And this is where I think a lot of clients appreciate a little bit more explanation. So if I tell a client, for example, okay, this week I want to make this change. I want to move your protein here, move your carbs there. Here's why. That's one of those places that I hope stimulates a little bit of a conversation. And I may even say, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that? Have you made changes like this in the past? And these kind of conversations take a little back and forth. You need to expect 3 or 4 exchanges of explanation. But I think it's worthwhile in the coaching communication, in their understanding. And from a coach's perspective, I think number one, that's just being good at your job. It's respecting that other person and treating them like a human, not just a client. And from the client's perspective, I think it really helps them grow and learn as an individual, as a competitor. So to me, it's a no-brainer. But maybe as you've seen other clients come and go from other people, what have you seen in terms of why clients like having that technical information, the why behind the change?
That way, because you hear so many different reasons that things are being done. A lot of them are valid in a sense. Sometimes people just want to try things out of the sake of trying them to see if it works better for them. But when when you really implement something for somebody and you make a prediction and that prediction happens, that feels really good to them, and they're like, I'm really glad that we did X, Y, and Z. And that's how you kind of get continual clients, season after season.
Yeah, it certainly builds that trust. And one of the things that I invite from the client is not only that hey, what do you think about this? What are your thoughts? But to tell me, what do you see looking forward? Do you anticipate anything that would make this change? Something to worry about, or every once in a while you have clients, whether there are health issues or something else, or maybe, as we talked about before, fears from past coaching relationships that weren't quite on solid footing. But tell me just really briefly your client communication process, just as a reminder. Do you tell clients, I want you to check in this day formally and then buzz off? I don't have time to talk to you. Or is it open-ended? I know you can't talk, you're not going to get on the phone every day for 2 hours with every client, but what can people expect as a normal coaching client communication process?
Yeah, I do like some structure with my check-ins. I think everyone likely wants to check in on Monday. It seems like that seems to be like the hot date. But I do like to kind of spread those out, because then I can legitimately take the time for each check-in to make sure I analyze everything I want to. There's going to be days where people, break that check-in day, and that's fine. But as long as people are pretty close to that day, it's all going to kind of average out. But when I do communicate with people on their check-in day, they usually send a reply. So I'm looking for those replies at the top of my inbox as I'm kind of working my way up. And that usually ends up as a back and forth conversation. So clients know, like, once I hit their check-in, they can respond back to that, and we're going to have some back and forth communication with that. Sometimes we obviously do phone calls when needed. It's not like we set them on like a monthly basis or anything like that, but there are times where you're teetering on decisions and you need to have a conversation. So I actually, the other day, I sent a client an email, and then I started thinking about some things, and I said, disregard all that. Here's what we're going to do. And she laughed about that, and she was like, that meant more to me, that I knew even after you'd sent that, you weren't just done with me. You then said, you know what, let's do this. And we kind of decided on a diet break and actually skipping her refeed for this week, because if we're already going to increase calories, why have that one little bump up that's just not really going to do that much.
And what's important about what you just said, Adam, is that there was a reason. You sent this email. This was your thought process, your analysis, and then you sent it, and you said, "Wait a second, I have another idea." And as the client discerned, there was actual reason, thought behind that, and it's not just following some random cookie cutter type thought process. But that's an important thing to communicate back and forth. And as a client, if you don't feel you're getting that, if your coach isn't making things clear, that's when you got to ask, and just be kind. Just say, look, I'm sorry, but I just don't understand that, or can you explain that to me a little bit differently, because I'm just not getting like the reason you want this, and I want to understand. So as long as everybody has a certain baseline humility, I think the conversations really help things accelerate down the road. So any amount of communication you spend on the front end is going to pay off, in so many ways down the road. So you guys, we got one more episode in this series. Stay tuned as we wrap up the whole client coach communication loop.